Ah, cinnamon. It seems simple enough, right? We add it to cakes, pies, cookies. We swirl it into breads and roll it into buns. But did you know that cinnamon isn't just one spice, but rather an umbrella term for a variety of spices? And that the cinnamon that we are familiar with today in America isn't the same cinnamon that people were enjoying 70 years ago, or even the same cinnamon that was once worth more than gold. Yes, prepare to have your minds and your taste buds blown away by the world of cinnamon. By the way, we're gonna say cinnamon a lot in this video, uncomfortably a lot. To understand cinnamon, you first have to know what it is and where it comes from. All cinnamon is harvested from the inner bark of several species of cinnamomum trees. Even though there are over 250 species of this fragrant family of evergreens all over the world, there are two broad types of cinnamon that we eat today with nuanced varieties within them. Cassia cinnamon, which is produced in southern China and throughout Southeast Asia, is what's commonly found in the United States. Today, the most common cinnamon on the American market is Indonesian cinnamon. But this isn't the same cinnamon that your grandma grew up with. Your grandma likely has fond food memories of indulging in Saigon cinnamon, which is sometimes called Vietnamese cinnamon because, spoiler alert, that's where it's predominantly exported from. Though Saigon cinnamon and Indonesian cinnamon are both forms of cassia, the Saigon version is a lot more flavorful and aromatic than the more subdued Indonesian variety. But why would we ever stop using the tastier variety of cinnamon? Well, it had nothing to do with flavor profiles and everything to do with war and trade. In 1964, during the Vietnam War, America placed a trade embargo on Vietnam, prohibiting all trade, including the importation of Saigon cinnamon. This meant America had to go elsewhere to get her cinnamon fix, and Indonesia was an affordable alternative. Both Saigon cinnamon and Indonesian cinnamon are available on the United States market today, but there's a third cinnamon that's beginning to make waves on the American spice market, and that is Ceylon cinnamon from Sri Lanka. Ceylon cinnamon is what's known as true cinnamon. But don't worry, the existence of a true cinnamon does not mean that you've been eating bootleg cinnamon this whole time. We call it true cinnamon because it's the translation of its Latin name, Cinnamomum verum. And for thousands of years, Cinnamomum verum was one of the world's most coveted spices. According to Pliny the Elder's writings, during the 1st century AD, a pound of cinnamon cost about 50 months' worth of labor for a commoner. And at one point in Rome's history, cinnamon was more expensive than gold. For millennia, the origins of true cinnamon were kept a secret from the Western world. To throw spice traders off the scent of true cinnamon's true location, traders concocted tales of the Cinnamolgus, a huge cinnamon bird that would collect the sticks from trees in an unknown land and then build nests in the mountains of Arabia. Greek historians and philosophers, including Aristotle, believed in the existence of cinnamon birds. This belief held on strong until about 1310, despite the fact that by that point, the secret to cinnamon had been revealed. Once people learned where cinnamon came from, it was a race to see who could take control of this precious resource. And this becomes one of the biggest drivers of European colonization. In 1492, when Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue, he wasn't just out to explore the world because he was curious, and he definitely wasn't trying to prove that the Earth was round. Mankind had already figured that out over 1,000 years prior, so I have no idea why they taught us that in school. Columbus was on a quest to find another source of the elusive cinnamon and to find other spices of equal or greater value to compete with the monopoly that the Persian and Arabian merchants had on that sweet, sweet bark of the cinnamon tree. The first Europeans to colonize Sri Lanka were the Portuguese. They gave the island its colonial name, Ceylon, which is how Ceylon cinnamon came to be. Ceylon cinnamon and the variety of Cassia cinnamons are distinctly different in texture, flavor, color, and price, so it's relatively easy to spot the differences. Cassia cinnamon is darker. It has a thick single layer of bark, and they're pretty sturdy sticks. I mean, they're really, really tough to break and grind down. Ceylon cinnamon, on the other hand, is a light brown color. It has a lot of fine layers of bark, so it doesn't look like the little rolled tube of paper towels. And Ceylon cinnamon breaks down a lot easier than Cassia cinnamon. In terms of flavor, Ceylon cinnamon is milder, but it has a lot of depth and it's significantly sweeter than Cassia cinnamon varieties. It's not as common in the United States, so it can be a little bit costly, but if you're looking to improve your apple pie or enjoy a nice cinnamon tea, treat yourself to some Ceylon cinnamon. Cinnamon.
If you're interested in more delicious history on Delishtory, go ahead and click that subscribe button on your screen. It's right there. Click on it. You know you want those notifications. You don't want to miss a moment of Delishtory. I promise you, it's going to get fun. It's going to be real fresh.